Inside Michigan Football is presented by Meyer.
Hi again, friends, and welcome to another edition of Inside Michigan Football. The Wolverines losing to Texas on Saturday, 31-12. And John Jansen, look, I don't want to bring up when it happened in your career, but it did when you guys lost a game early to Syracuse and you guys came back to win a share of the Big Ten championship. But that was a team you sorted things out as the year went on, and this team has some things to sort out.
And that's why you start with the non-conference. Right now, you've got 3 games non-conference. This was the biggest game. This is the biggest game they've had in non-conference in a decade. So you come out and you don't ace the test. There's still the Big Ten play. USC's coming to town. You have 2 weeks to prepare for them. What are you going to do? You have 2 options. You can either hang your head and say season's over, which we all know that's not true, or you can find a way to get better for Arkansas State. Use this as motivation and look internally. Each individual guy, coaches, everybody in that building, what is it that I can do to get better for Arkansas State? What is it that I can do to get better for when the Big Ten season starts?
Well, one of the most impressive performances on Saturday was Quinn Ewers, the quarterback. His ability to move around a little bit, be comfortable in the pocket, elude a rush, make plays happen with his feet. And early on in the game, he did a lot of that.
We heard a lot about Quinn Ewers. We heard a lot about him as a recruit. He started out in Columbus, transferred to Texas, and one of the things that makes him so good is the awareness in the pocket. He's got all the physical skills, the arm, the accuracy. I mean, he's a 71% guy. You really expect more than that. But his pocket presence, when to step up and notice where the rush is, when to escape out the back of the pocket. His ability to extend plays was on full display today, but it's not just that. It's what do I do with the ball when I'm on the run? That's what makes him, that's why NFL coaches are looking at him.
So Michigan got something going in this first quarter as it turned to second, and it started with some play action running, and then they ran a flea flicker and got a pass downfield to C.J. Charleston.
I love the play call because it allows the offensive line to sell the run, be aggressive, and it allows time for receivers to get downfield. It allows time when Davis Warren gets the ball back to be able to see everything downfield, deliver the ball. I thought it was a great play call, and obviously the execution was there.
At the time, that was Michigan's longest offensive play of the year. Then later in that drive, they show a little misdirection here on a run from Donovan Edwards. We go to Jansen vision.
Yeah, and a lot of this has to do just with the motion of the quarterback. Watch him as he spins around, and you're going to see a little misdirection here. And Donovan Edwards is actually going to get the ball on the backside. But here's something else. Everybody asks, well, how did Dom Jadis win this job? This is part of it. Watch the athletic ability. We've seen centers pull on the outside. This time, the center pulls and actually traps the end man on the line of scrimmage, which allows down blocks. You're looking for an advantage, and there's a great job by Donovan when he does get the ball. Patience, noticing the cutback lane is there, and he is literally a shoelace away from making the big play.
That was a play that saved a touchdown. Michigan ended that drive in a field goal. They've been very reliable. Their kicker, Dominic Zavada, who's been a weapon and continues to be. One of the issues was getting off the field on third down. Texas, 5 of their first 6. Later in the first half, 7 of their first 8. They converted a 3rd and 13, a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 10. They were averaging on those conversions 11.3 yards of play.
You've got to find a way. You know they're going to be passing the ball at that situation, most likely. How do I create pressure against the quarterback? How do I know where the quarterback is going to go with the ball? We knew they were going away from Will Johnson, so whoever was on the opposite side, maybe there's a way to give some safety help. Maybe there's a way to get a linebacker out there. They weren't able to do either. One, get pressure on the quarterback or cover anybody downfield.
The other problem was field position. Michigan couldn't give Texas's offense short fields. Turnovers led to that. They had a punt that checked up and went backwards. Texas got the ball on their own 44, the Michigan 37, the Michigan 42. You can't afford to give a quality football team short fields.
No, and I mean, it started with the first drive. They go down, they make a play, they score a touchdown. Well, it's called back because of a penalty. They've got to settle for a field goal. They missed that field goal. Hey, they capitalized on a lot of mistakes Michigan made, but Michigan wasn't able to do that. The offense comes out and it's 3 and out. 3 plays, 3 yards. You punt the ball. They haven't lost much field position, and you're sitting there going, we didn't take any time off the clock. We didn't flip the field. We didn't hold up our end of the bargain. Now defense is back out there, and 3 plays only takes about a minute's worth of time off the clock.
The Wolverines trailed at 24-3 at the half. Did some things in the second half we want to take a look at as they're trying to find something to build on moving forward. Michigan with Arkansas State next week, and you mentioned USC coming in 2 weeks. What can they build on? We will get to that. Also, later in the show, we'll hear from the head coach of the Wolverines, Sharon Moore, here on Inside Michigan Football.
We're just going to go back to the drawing board, see what we can do better, learn a lot, reflect on what type of team we want to be and what type of people we want to be. Adversity, you go into the season, adversity is going to hit at some point, and it's hit us here in week 2, and so it's going to take, and I know I got full confidence in the guys that we have the resolve to come back next week and be better.
Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2024 Michigan football season and proud sponsor of thousands of local sports teams across the Midwest. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by University of Michigan Health. There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer. Visit michigananswers.com.
Inside Michigan Football continues. We move to the second half of the Texas game. And, John, we start with Michigan's first play offensively of the second half and Jansen vision.
And I simply just want to highlight Max Bredesen on this play. He is the guy that does all the dirty work. Usually we see him coming across and trapping on the other side. This one is strictly downhill. You're going to get it down blocks all the way across the board. And then Max is taxed with, I'm going to go ahead and run as fast as I can and as hard as I can right at one guy. But it's pivotal because you're trying to get the same plays out of different looks, and he does a great job of being able to base up a defensive end, and you get 6 or 7 yards on that play simply because you have a guy that's willing to do all the dirty work.
Well, Texas got the football back with the big lead. This is a 2nd and 10 play back to Jansen vision.
And I want you to watch Mason Graham on this play. This play is going to come on the outside. If he doesn't fight across the top of his block and string this out, he ends up making this play cut back. The play's made inside, but I'm going to show you what was the possibility, the threat. Okay, you think he's blocked right now, but he's going to get out here, force this ball back inside. If he doesn't, look at all this green grass out here. The next guy he's going to have is Will Johnson. Block, beating 2 blocks and block. So you've got to have one guy making a play, and all of a sudden, Derek Moore is able to make that play from behind.
All right, next up, we got a 3rd and 10 for Michigan. Jansen vision.
And this is Colston Loveland here. And the reason I like this one is because of the awareness. Not a lot of great things to talk about in this game, but when you watch Davis Warren and he realizes as this guy cuts across Evan Link's face, everybody comes across, and there is a whole lot of room out here. Now it's eventually going to go to Colston Loveland, but he strings this play out, and as you see, everything cuts inside, they wash it down, and he's out here with really great protection. They're not blocking him, but right now he's buying himself time, giving Colston Loveland time to get downfield, and then he delivers the ball, and just simply a player going to make a play.
Well, the good news is Texas only scored 1 touchdown in the second half. This was it. We go to Jansen vision.
Yeah, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I mentioned it on the broadcast. It's basically pick play. You got your receivers all lined up here, and they're just going to run a couple of routes to try and bunch everybody up here. Even if they don't make contact, it's just getting in the way, becoming speed bumps. And that's exactly what happens. Running back goes in motion. He's outflanked the defense, and when that happens, it's a race to the pylon, one that Michigan can't win.
All right, the Wolverines doing some things later in the game. We continue with Jansen vision. This is a 4th and 4, a free runner at Davis Warren, and he finds Tyler Morris.
Yeah, and I want you to hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the blockers that you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the guys that are rushing. They're going to add in an extra one. Davis Warren has to know when he comes free, I've got to get rid of the ball, maybe buy a little time. This is something I thought Davis did extremely well, and he does that. You see the free runner come in there. He's got nobody to block him. There's nobody available to block him, and you've got a guy right here in Tyler Morris that understands the pre-snap look, a learning job from last week. He's going to cut his route off a little bit early, look at Davis, and a nice job of getting rid of the ball at the last second, buying as much time as possible, completion, and it's a conversion on a 4th down at that time that they absolutely had to have.
Okay, Michigan searching for an identity offensively. They're looking for explosive playmakers, and maybe getting Davis Warren on the run is something they can work with moving forward. Here he's creating some time, making some plays with his feet, extending a play, and he finds Samaj Morgan for a touchdown. touchdown.
Yeah, and one of the things that has to greatly improve is pass protection, especially on this right side. You can't give a short corner. That's what happens on this play. But Davis Warren is able to step up inside the pocket. See, you're beat right there. You took a bad step. All right, but Davis Warren is going to step up and escape the pocket, and as he does, he's giving his receivers as much time as possible, keeping his eyes downfield, looking for Samaj Morgan, and then it's all about, hey, I'm not going to give up. I'm not quitting. I'm going to try and find a way to get in the end zone.
Okay, looking for an offensive identity. Is Davis Warren maybe with his feet something they can work with, maybe getting him outside the tackle box, throwing on the run?
I think for a young, inexperienced quarterback going into his third start, you want to give him as clear a view as possible. Even if the protection is great, he's still looking over a lot of bodies. He's looking through linebackers. You've got to be able to give him a clear view, get him outside the pocket, give him that chance to look downfield, and it gives the receivers more time to get open as well.
Defensively, Texas didn't go at Will Johnson all day. Can you maybe start shifting the defense over to help on the other side? How can you take advantage of that?
Hey, Will Johnson's put his big boy pants on. He's going to be okay. Everybody else, you've got to find a way. You can go man on one side and then go cover 2, cover 3, go a bunch of different things on the other side. Maybe it's a linebacker underneath, but you got to be able to play tighter coverage and not give a guy, when he catches the ball, so much room to roam.
Michigan had won 28 consecutive regular season games before this loss, 23 straight at home here at the Big House. We'll hear from the head coach, Sharon Moore, next on Inside Michigan Football.
We've got to figure out quickly, with detail, with urgency, but not panic, how we're going to get better in each phase of the game.
You got to let it burn. You know, you got to watch the tape, figure out what I did wrong, figure out what we did wrong as an offense, and yeah, but you can't dwell on it too much. Obviously, it's going to hurt. It's got to hurt, and it should, because you know, there's no excuse for that. But you know, when Monday comes around, after we finish the tape, it's on to the next, and we just got to keep growing.
Our conversation with the coach is brought to you by Meyer.
Coach, this is the first time you've been in this position, a long time since these players have had a loss. What was the message to the team after the game?
We got to have resolve. We got to figure out quickly, with detail, with urgency, but not panic, how we're going to get better in each phase of the game. Starting with offense, we've got to be better just controlling the football and taking care of the football. We had 3 turnovers, had 2 picks, you had a fumble. And then when your best players are doing it, you know, it seeds over. So we got to be better taking care of the football as an offense. We got to possess the ball. We got to do better things from me, from a management standpoint, I got to do a better job. Defensively, you know, they're just on the field too long. I feel like in the first half. They did a good job stopping them, and then they got to drive, and you know, we have a 3 and out, and then they go drive. So we got to do a better job offensively, keeping them off the field.
Time of possession was going to be a big part of this game. In the first half, they were 8 of 10 on third downs. You were 1 of 5. What was the difficulty the defense was having of getting off the field?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, you know, keeping our rush lanes, making sure when he steps up in the pocket, we were in the B gap, and you know, he was doing a good job of scooting up in the pocket and finding open guys in zone, and you know, they did a really good job in the back end, just making the plays and completions.
80 yards rushing throughout the course of the game. I know this is all new components on the offensive line. What did you see from them?
Yeah, we've got to strain. You know, like I told them in there, it's going to be a week of we've got to strain. We've got to be physical. Our mindset's got to change in how we do it and how we approach it every time. So we just got to be better. We got to be better as a whole group.
Davis Warren, we saw him run around at the end of the game, extend some plays, make some completions. But your thoughts on his performance today? Yeah,
I mean, the two picks, the first one, it's in the receiver's hands. It gets batted down into tip. And the second one, we run the wrong route. You know, he missed the seam ball on the right hash. But other than that, he played pretty well as far as where the ball was going to go, what he needed to do, and playing in rhythm. So we got to make a play for him, too.
Defensively, it felt like they were just going away from Will Johnson every time. I don't even think he was tested at all. How do you secure the other side of the defense?
Yeah, we got to do other things in coverage to help those guys, which we will. We got to change up different looks to do it, you know, and then we got to execute our job. You know, they're getting easy touchdowns on things we're just not, you know, communicating with day one things. So we got to just do a better job as a whole.
If there's a bright spot, Dominic Zavada hit a 52-yarder. How good has he been for you guys?
Yeah, he's been great. But for us, we got to get the ball in the end zone. You know, we can't rely on field goals. We're going to play too many good teams like we just played just now. So they're a good football team. They're going to do a lot of good things this year, but we've got to have some resolve and make the adjustments we need to.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Sense of urgency, but no panic. Look, You got to take care of business against Arkansas State, but you have to use every opportunity you have to get better, to figure out what you do well and improve upon what you don't.
Can't ignore the film. You're going to have to look at it. It's going to be painful. But the thing is, it's never as bad as you think it is. It's never as good as you think it is. So use it as a learning tool, learn from it, get better. There's still a lot of season left to play.
We know Sharon wants to run the football. Some good hard running from Benjamin Hall late in this game.
I like the way Khalil Mullins attacks the line of scrimmage. Donovan Edwards did better early in the first quarter, but Ben Hall, I do like his aggressiveness and the fact that he's kind of a Mike Hart body style, low to the ground and powerful.
All right, we will hear from our Ed Kongursky next here on Inside Michigan Football.
Welcome back, everyone. The Big House has been a house of horrors for opponents in recent years, but the Longhorns were the ghouls on Saturday, snapping Michigan's 23-game home win streak, a streak that dates back to 2021, and their 28-game regular season winning streak.
We just weren't good enough. Shot ourselves in the foot too many times. Texas is a good football team, and they're gonna capitalize when we make mistakes. And me as a quarterback, I got to be better. I got to be better at moving the chains on third downs and keeping us going as an offense. That falls on me. So I'm just gonna go back to the drawing board, see what we can do better, learn a lot, reflect on what type of team we want to be and what type of people we want to be.
It just comes down to execution. By me, by the offense. Just can't turn the ball over really. Could connect on a couple more things. Left a lot out there, but really just shot ourselves in the foot. We didn't give the defense a chance. They played great in the second half. We just got to give them a chance, and I take full responsibility. And we're gonna come back in the building tomorrow though, fired up and ready to play more ball.
We just shot ourselves in the foot. We gave them too many opportunities. We didn't keep our defense off the field long enough, and I think that them scoring points as a result of us on offense not doing enough, having our defense be back on the field way too often, and that's just something that we can't do.
We haven't lost in a while. A lot of guys on the team, this is their first real loss or their first real piece of adversity that they're going to face. So reflecting off of that, it's how you respond. I mean, at the end of the day, we have a really high standard where that standard is not used to being challenged like this, but it's football. You win some, you lose some. So the real question is how you're going to come back and respond, because it is week 2. It's not the playoffs. It's not the end of the season.
They were a good team, but I feel like, we beat ourselves a lot in a lot of aspects, in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams. But, you just take this one on the chin and keep it moving.
We're not panicked, but more urgency. Just got to go out, just be even more detailed, lock in even more.
We've worked way too hard to let ourselves feel down about this forever. We're going to let it sting tonight, and then we're going to come in tomorrow morning with real enthusiasm.
What will you do personally to kind of just recover from a frustrating loss?
I mean, for me personally, this game is damn near already flushed, but you got to just, watch film, flush down the toilet and keep it going.
Every season certainly has its share of adversity. This year, it's hitting early on. For the guys, homecoming versus Arkansas State can't get here soon enough. For Inside Michigan Football, I'm Ed Kongursky.
Congrats to Steve Hutchinson, who was recognized by Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel, here presenting him with his College Football Hall of Fame plaque during a first quarter timeout. Steve will get inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame on December 10th. John, you played with Hutch. When did you know he was going to be a great one?
Oh, I mean, when he showed up on campus. I mean, he was built to play football. He looks like a bear, played like a bear. I mean, think about that 97 team. Hutch and Backus were redshirt freshmen. What he was able to do, all Big Ten 4 years in a row. I mean, then you look at what he did in the NFL. I know this is for the College Football Hall of Fame. He was great at every level.
Well, we haven't had to do a show after a loss for a long time, but now it's back to work for this team to try and sort things out. They got coaches in there that I'm sure are going to be back at the back putting together the formula to improve things.
Yeah, and it goes into game plan, play selection. You got to find a way to put your players in position to be successful, and then for the players, it's about execution.
Got to get better. Arkansas State next week. We'll be back next Sunday here on Inside Michigan Football.
Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meyer, presenting sponsor of the 2024 Michigan football season, proud sponsor of thousands of local sports teams across the Midwest.